I want to thank you, first of all, for such a gracious introduction. And you said it almost like the way that I wrote it. And I really do appreciate that. But I'm looking out in the audience and seeing a whole bunch of distinguished people. I really believe that the distinguishability of people from the norm comes from the radiation that's in their heart and their souls. Today, I want to take a few moments to make a case for great communication. The late great evangelist and gospel genius, Emmanuel Scott Sr., once talked about a little boy. This little boy was asked, "Do you always say your prayers?" To which the young boy replied, he said, "Sometimes I say my prayers, and other times I pray my prayers." That's a great distinction, and that little boy had a knack for great communication. I have always thought that the spoken word and the effect of great communication on our hearts is what makes the world go around. It's what challenges us to do greater deeds than we would normally do. For me, it was an early decision when I found out, after studying, that the great African civilization to which I have become heir, and a lot of you have become heir, always passed on their history through the spoken word. That means that those of us that share that heritage come from a great background of fascinating and pivotal speakers. So for me, it was no great stretch of the imagination. What I wanted to do was to speak to people's hearts. What I wanted to do was to be able to take my small contribution and make something great for mankind. I know that a lot of you have already seen this movie, It's a Wonderful Life. And in it, it exemplifies a young person who, without which, the world would not be the same place that it is. And I want to tell each and every one of you that I've discovered that each of you bring a precious legacy to this existence. There is only one you. There has never been another one like you. There will never be another one like you. So this part that you bring is essential to the world's greatest accomplishments. I think that if anyone had to express to themselves anything that they have learned of accomplishment, anything that they have done, it didn't happen without great communication. That's right. For it is the essence of the spoken word that makes this world the place where we can all communicate. Now, communication, of course, is a two-way street. Right. You have to be able to say something, and someone has to be able to receive it. Well, they don't receive it well if you don't communicate it well. These days, it's become fashionable to use the word "like" as if it's part of every word and thought. I've talked to young people, and unfortunately, some of those that are a little bit older than young people, and they would tell me something like, "I thought it was going to be like you know, man. You know what I mean? It was like, I was so scared, Papa dude." I always look at him like that. I don't know what gave them permission because I got gray hair to call me Papa, but that's a story for another generation. I thought I was going to pass out you understand? No, I don't understand. Like is overused because people seem to think that it is fashionable not to speak well, but to speak like other people speak. And what distinguishes us from the crowd is that which is more pointed and which is communicated to a person in clear fashion. So I want to get rid of like. I want us to fall in love with love. I want us to be able to love what it is that we say enough to express it in all its finer nuances. I want to be able to listen to a person who has thought carefully about what they're going to say before they open their mouth and say it. I want to look at my authorities as people that have enough care to have mastered the art of communication. I know that there are great people that are not known for great speaking abilities. But unfortunately, those people always have to go get someone to speak for them. I want to make a short stop there. I want all of us to be challenged to be able to sit and talk with someone and communicate the essence of what we have to say succinctly and distinctly. I know that a few years ago, when I was involved in education, there was this great movement afoot to make Black English a part of the curriculum. I've looked at the English language. I understand that it is called Anglo-Saxon. It came from a people a long time ago that refined a language that made it the most expressive language in the world. Now, I don't care what color or what ethnic group we belong to here in America, but it is my fine opinion that we speak English. So therefore, I find it hard to master a language that is not going to be communicated in thought and deed. If we really want to speak to someone, we have to speak in the vernacular that is not ghetto bred, but is educationally bred. I think that it's a great waste of education for us not to be able to communicate in a fashion with which someone older, someone middle-aged, and someone younger can understand what it is that we're saying. So I'm trying to make here, in a short amount of time, a case for great communication. I'm sure that many of you, as it's become a part of our lives now, look at television. Have you noticed there's no more Edward R. Murrows? There's no more Walter Cronkites. Instead, we have people who slaughter the English language, and the bad part about it is they serve as examples to millions and millions of people. A good friend of mine once railed about the word unique. Unique means that something stands alone. It means that there is not another one like it. It means that it's distinctive and not ordinary. So you cannot have something that is truly unique or really unique, because that implies that everything else is unique, and unique is not unique. Yet we have people that are supposed to be the communicators that we model after, and they toss this around simply because I think to them it sounds good. If you're going to communicate with someone, they have to have the advantage of hindsight to know that at the end of the conversation, that there is truly something that you passed on to them. You don't want them stumbling over, what did he mean when he said it was truly unique? Does that mean that everything that we attempt to do is unique? That begs the question that there's nothing unique. Now, I picked on that particular phraseology because it is commonplace now in our country to short step the English language. We seem to want to be in such a hurry to communicate that we fail to understand that true communication is that which is lasting. I used to be a broadcaster, and one of the things I found out at that time was that you better think about what you say, because once you say it, it's out there and it's gone.
That's right. That's right.
Now, anybody that's a husband will begin to agree with me. You cannot make a faux pas in an argument with your wife and then say, oh, I didn't mean that, because its damage is already done. There are a lot of real expensive couches that have a bend in them only because the husband does not know how to communicate. I feel that at this time we're on a precipice. We are standing over a great valley. We are in the unique position in this generation to make an effective change for the better. We are poised on the edge of greatness. And the only thing that is keeping us from making the leap from that which is precarious to that which is sublime is our lack of focus on communication. I think that there is no one in this world that's not worthy of good communication. I think that when we talk to our children, the way that we speak to them has a lot to do to determine what kind of character they're going to bring out of their childhood and launch adult life with. That's right. I believe that when we talk to someone, no matter what their financial position, that we are gaining something that God wished us to achieve. That person that we may want to write off because they are not in the most fashionable clothes and they're not driving the best car. Or perhaps the person that will say something that will effectively change your life. So I don't take any meeting with anyone for granted. I always make sure that when I talk with someone, that I make my best effort to find out what is the essence of what they're talking about. I've done a lot of things with the gift of oratory. When I was a young boy, I always used to win contests. And I would always wait that one day that contest prize would be some actual cash. Unfortunately, when you're a great speaker and you know that you can speak, a lot of people that take advantage of your ego and tell you, come out here and speak for me. I used to feel like unless I got an ample monetary reward, that I was throwing away a talent that God gave me. Isn't it wonderful that as we grow through life, we not only grow in stature and in girth, but that we grow in understanding. I feel a lot different now than I used to feel as a youngster. I feel that every opportunity that I've got, that I've received, see, I'm just testing you, that I've received is an opportunity for me to leave something with the people or the person that I'm talking with. I believe that only our great God above gives that opportunity, and he gives it very stintedly. So that if you don't take advantage of every opportunity that you have to exercise your gift, the precious gift that God has given us is wasted. So I consider myself a piece of the continent, a part of the main. When you look at all the other people, ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. For if we don't respect each other and learn that communication comes not from storybooks, but from the heart of people that care about each other, we won't be great communicators and we'll be smaller people. Let's smash the ceremony.